Long Island Boat and Fishing Show is back at the Nassau Coliseum, March 13th through 15th. Long Island's top dealers will be there with huge savings on boats, tackle, personal watercraft, and the latest electronics. This show has it all. Children will be entertained by Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel. Enjoy free face painting. Plus, on Saturday and Sunday, the first 100 kids get a free life vest, free parking all weekend, and Friday, it's free Heroes Day admission for military and first responders. 3 days only, March 13th through 15th. Visit nyboatshows.com for details.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi. Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Let's talk about threats to the homeland, because that's a big issue too, especially with those attacks that took place at Old Dominion University and also in Michigan at that synagogue. And who better than former FBI Supervisory Special Agent James Gagliano. James, there's so many details here. My blood boils when I think about this Old Dominion University. The guy was convicted of being a material supporter of ISIS. He pleads guilty. He gets out early, and then he opens fire at Old Dominion University. How could this happen?
Well, Rita, you just described what suicidal empathy is. And in this instance, this man should have gotten 20 years for providing material support to ISIS, a foreign terror organization. And the judge decided in this instance to give him a quote-unquote second chance. That second chance gave this guy the opportunity to go in and shoot Lieutenant Colonel Shah, a guy who had served multiple deployments overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan and was an ROTC instructor. We just haven't learned our lesson. And in this instance, thank goodness that ROTC students responded and ended up taking this terrorist out. But it goes back to this. It is simply suicidal empathy.
That judge should go, he caused the death of that lieutenant colonel by letting him out.
He did, John. In this instance, and here's the concern, and I know it's why you guys are having me on to talk about what kind of threats we're facing right now. Well, ever since October 7th of 2023, and certainly since the war began in Iran, that Israel and the United States has undertaken to take out the regime over there, these type of threats are popping up. And why is this? Well, for terrorist organizations, attention and propaganda are the coin of the realm. So ISIS has ceded the high ground, the fact that they were getting a ton of oxygen in the media, and they don't like the fact that Hezbollah and Hamas have been front and center. And so you are probably going to see more of these type of ISIS-inspired or ISIS-directed attacks like we've seen across this past month. 4 times. 3 of the attacks involved naturalized U.S. citizens, and one of the attacks that happened very close to where you guys are down in New York City were 2 kids whose parents were naturalized citizens that threw the improvised explosive device at Gracie Mansion.
Well, some of these people were getting citizenship papers the same way some of these drivers were getting, what do you call it?
The commercial driver's licenses.
Commercial driver's licenses.
Right.
Something is wrong. They used to say something's rotten in Denmark. Well, something is rotten here.
And you know what, James, too? How come, and here's a question. I'm looking at Judge Weinberg and said, how come this guy, first of all, you tell me you let a guy out on good behavior who has already pled guilty to terrorism? That's ludicrous. Then he still maintains his naturalized citizenship.
And he murders the lieutenant colonel.
And he murders the lieutenant, and he would have murdered more
under federal
had they
law,
not stopped him.
As the Mayor Gagliano knows, the fact is you can take away naturalized citizenship at any time for grounds such as this.
So I would think planning to commit a terrorist act against America.
I am glad the ROTC students stabbed them to death, and they did their job.
Thank God. And by the way, he also bought a gun. I just found out, James, a couple of minutes ago, they arrested the guy who sold him the gun, because not only is he an ex-con, he's obviously someone who pled guilty to murder, to planning a huge terrorist plot. I mean, all of these reasons should have legally said you can't sell the guy a gun. So I'm glad they went after the gun seller there.
Yeah, and Rita, first of all, I am ecstatic that I finally got a chance to interact with the judge again. The last time I joined you guys, I feel like I got cheated out of the opportunity. So it's good to hear the
You know why you like him? Because he calls you mayor. That's
Mr.
why.
Not just mayor, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor.
Trust me, he's been a judge longer than I was a mayor, and he's much more distinguished. But to his point, what's really difficult here, guys, is this fact that to denaturalize somebody, it takes almost an act of Congress. And I'm not being overly hyperbolic. You can be denaturalized if you commit fraud on your application. But to the judge's point, how do we have a guy like this that was convicted and served time for providing material support to a terrorist organization and doesn't get denaturalized and deported?
Yeah, it's incredible. There are so many questions.
My view about this is you do the full 20 years, and when you finish your 20 years, then you get denaturalized and you get deported. That's all. Get these people out of here.
Couldn't agree more with you, Judge. Absolutely. And I think we're learning our lesson. You guys are down in Manhattan. Understand that in the past 25 years, there have been 53 terrorist attacks that were propagated or promoted by radical Islam since 9/11. This is suicidal empathy. We're not figuring this out. And it comes down to this. Folks that don't want to assimilate live in communities that are very insular. And even if the folks in those communities, they're not all terrorists, but the fact that they tolerate these folks in their midst, that's the problem.
Yeah, that is a big problem. Really scary. And sadly, just like you said, we have to brace for more, given this climate. James Gagliano, thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, we appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you all.
Thank you very much.